Episode number 105 with Steve and Mike. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton.
Hey, this is Mike Snyderman.
How the hell are you, Mikey?
We done yet?
Yeah, I guess that's a wrap.
Oh, okay. Oh, let's just move this fucking thing along, please.
How was your weekend?
I can't pretend my time is valuable. That's the problem here. Because 5 days a week, I'm just, yeah. My weekend, just the ugliness of the poker world. I mean, just, you hate to break life down by money, but money matters. And, we're reaching the end of this comedy, Steve. We really are. I know I keep saying this stuff hysterically, but, anyways, I fired, I think we spoke after I said I had Kings crack 3 times.
Yes.
And lost like 4,000 in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then, so I went to the circuit event, the main event, which I love. Those are about as plus EV as you can get. Oh, I've never seen so many pros in one place before. It was pretty crazy. Anyways, so it was a little tougher field than ever. But I fired 2 bullets into that, bricked. And the second time, of course, I built up nicely, and then I got it in Kings against Ace King.
And of course, you hit an ace, right?
I mean, in all seriousness, after returning for the summer, if I never got Kings, I'd be break even. But because I've gotten Kings a lot, I'm down like 25K.
Oh God.
It really is Kings every time. And it was just kind of funny how it played out. Guy raises, I 3-bet, he 4-bets, I 5-bet rip. He insta calls. So I'm like, "Oh, aces, really?" He's like, "Not yet."
But I will.
very confidently flips over his ace king, and ace in the window.
Oh God!
And then I immediately sat down at cash, and I opened King 7, which is probably bad for $1,000, but whatever. King 7 suited, and the flop was King 7 deuce, and the man had pocket deuces, and it all got in.
Oh God! Wow.
So. Whatever it was, $4,000 the other day at cash, 4,400 here. The previous little circuit trip wasn't good the previous weekend, so that's how you. Yeah, it's just I don't know what to do here. I feel like, but just to show for balance, I talk about my bad luck. But yesterday, the online grind, I was in some great spots, and I punted a pretty big stack in the 500K. Maybe punting's too hard to say. I was the chip leader for about like the first 3 hours.
That just is out of fun.
I knocked 3 guys out in the first 15 minutes. It was pretty ridiculous. I just on a flush draw, I flopped a set and just shoved. Like the second hand of the tournament, and a guy called with the nut flush draw and hit his flush on the turn, but I rivered a full house, so I doubled up. Then, like 5 minutes later. I forget what these guys had because I was multi-tabling. I didn't even see, but I shoved the nut straight on the turn, and both of them called. So I think one of them had like a flush draw and a pair, and the other one had a set or 2 pair. And then I won a few more. So I had 45K, like on the first level of this tournament. Pretty ridiculous. And I quickly looked to see the leaderboard, and like someone else had 21K, of course, because even to double up is like a fucking huge.
Yeah.
And I didn't cash.
Oh.
So, and the 3 hands that I have 3 hands. I don't know if we want to discuss. I don't know how much time we have, but anyways, there was one. So I went from like chip leader to out in like a 20 hand stretch at some point. Pretty bad, pretty bad. And then, so it wasn't even and then, I did final table last night. I was twitching a $7,500 tournament, right? I was second in chips when we got to the final table, and I finished 7th.
That's frustrating, yeah.
And this was pretty punty too. Maybe I should pull up. There's one hand there I think was interesting too. I'll pull that up just in case we.
I had one of those. I played Saturday and then I played Sunday the weekend before, and Yeah, I was the chip leader for basically the entire tournament. I was in the top three, and it wasn't any real skill. It was just, I got aces, I raised, and someone else three bet, and then I four bet. They ripped, and I called, and I won, and it just kept going like that. It was just running good, and then it stopped. There's 500 people in the tournament, and that run good stopped at about 20 people, and then I ended up finishing 11th. And it was just like, man, couldn't this go for another like 20 minutes? I just closed this thing out. But yeah, that was, when you're looking and you're number one of 455 by a long shot, and it just stays that way until you're, down to 20 people. It's like, this is just meant to be, But, so that was a little frustrating, but at least I cashed. But,
yeah, this was. Yeah, I mean, well, quickly, I'm just going to discuss. This is one of those things where I think we've discussed these spots where you got your big Sunday tournaments, but then you also have your little $20 buy-ins, just trying to make money that way. So when you get knocked,
just the little ones on the side that are kind of in the corner.
Yeah, so when you get knocked out of the big ones, it's just and it really was like a 30-minute span where there's like a 30K turbo with a $100 buy-in where I was like top 5 in chips and then got it in queens and kings. And then I got knocked out of the 500K, and then I was in 100K, and I had a huge chip. I'm gonna have to go through the hand history of some of these. I had like 70K in chips, and I was gone on that one pretty quick. So it was like boom, 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 and then all of a sudden there's a fucking $11, $750 tournament that I'm fighting just to make it a break-even day.
Yes.
Pretty goddamn miserable. Anyways, I'm going to go to get my car. To start Ubering again, I have to have my car, whatever it is, re-examined. Every once a year, every 6 months, whatever, they have to do a checkup. So I'm going to do that.
If you looked into Lyft as well, it seems like every Uber driver I pick up, they're also on Lyft, and they do both of them at the same time.
That's interesting. Yeah, I might have to look into that.
And a lot of them like Lyft more than Uber. They say that Lyft takes less of a cut. Like the customer doesn't pay as much as you would for Uber, but what's Uber's cut? Like 30% or something? Or
the problem is I like the word Uber. So when people say, "What are you doing?" I like to say, "Well, I'm Ubering."
It's become a verb.
It feels more lame and tragic for some reason, which is pretty much what I'm looking for at this point. But anyways, thanks for Elliot. I have to. That's a timely thing, but I really, it really just occurred to me. I mean, I haven't really talked about my gambling days in a while here. It's kind of a boring story, but there is a part of it that just you want to be punished, and I felt like yesterday because I was already like, okay, Monday's Uber, blah blah blah. This is all coming to an end. Just didn't play good poker yesterday. But anyways, so sadly, I'm just fucking broke here. But sadly, I'm in a good mood, just because I like the idea of the challenge is starting over. I guess I don't know. It's very weird.
I think there's something there. Like you were saying, it's almost like relief when you lose. I can't relate to that. I've never felt that.
Right? No, it doesn't. No, I mean, no. I've been. It just. Yeah, it just felt like a. I don't know. I mean, Steve, just going through the how I've run, I think about is you probably this is a point Alex was making to me, and it's funny. Alex now will be talked about as much as Carlos and Mark were like the two little experts in my orbit here. But now Alex will probably be brought up quite a bit. But he was talking about another guy who was like just ran so good to start. He says that's really bad. He's like you shouldn't even be considered. You don't even understand poker until you've gone through a horrible stretch.
Yeah.
And I never did that.
Huh?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much it was always even online. I think like a bad stretch for me was like breaking even for a few months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the first 4 years. So, I'm not going to say this is what poker, I can't compare it to other people's run bad. But like I said, it's been, pretty bad. Like, just like the Kings alone. I'm just, I'm obsessed with this hand now. I'm just thinking about the 4-outer the guy hit on me for the 5K pot and this, that. So it's just awful. But I've gotten a glimpse of what it really is. And now, I don't know. Elliot's timely, and now I got to start I think I told you my last time. I can't remember. We discussed this. My new plan is just to grind the low stakes during the week and then go to LA on the weekends to play 5-5 when I get a chance.
Yeah.
And somehow, hopefully, make myself healthy by next summer so I can have the Vegas experience, because that's running around Vegas and playing tournaments in a manic episode for 6 weeks is what really poker's about for me. It's supposed to be about paying the bills.
Well, let me ask you this. You've been doing this professionally now for, I can't remember. Were you still a mailman when we started the podcast, or had you just come to San Diego?
I come to San Diego. I mean,
okay, so you've been doing this for 2 years now. And
pretty much, yeah.
What's do you still have that love for the game, or is it more of like a love-hate relationship, or what's your...
Well, we talked about, that was one of the, the first thing I asked Scott Stewart. I'm like, do you love the game? He's like, oh, I love it. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not that level of, I like tournaments. I like, the thrill of like unbagging for tournaments is still pretty intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like the challenge. I definitely, well, the funny thing is, Steve, this is what I was going to kind of get into. If I'm not going to, I remember once telling some woman about a New Year, what are your New Year's resolutions? She's like, New Year's resolutions are for losers. Normal people are always working on them. This is kind of a good Steve statement. Of course, you would say it much more delicately. But I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if you've had. Well, I mean, you at some point you probably had a New Year's resolution to quit smoking or something along those lines.
Yeah.
But basically, you're always just studying the habits of success. So, anyways, I'm not even waiting to New Year's here. It's like I got to study every day. I'm now a Crush Live poker person for cash, and I'm going to try to get up every day and study for hour minimum. And then, of course, whenever there's a chance to study with you or the other guys, to do that.
Yeah.
And so trying to get, I gotta, exercise, whatever. Told myself I'm going to go join a gym today. And what was the other thing? Ben Reasons talk about this. He says, well, I don't really believe in social media. And we really didn't dive into that. But that is just a suck on our time. And it's pretty stupid. As much as I kind of mocked you sometimes for not really knowing what the hell's going on. like your Twitter is like what, every 4 days you get on there for 10 minutes and just to get a little few retweets and keep the Heads Up Poker podcast Twitter account vibrant. Is that kind of your plan, or is that?
Yeah, I usually get on there. I don't tweet as often as I should. I get on there. I check it every day, but I usually only tweet a few times a week. I should be tweeting more, but
unfortunately, like I said, it's been 90% run bad. Yesterday online was something different, but I'm so financially compromised to come up with all these new plans is kind of secondary to just somehow finding a way to have some money coming in. But so yeah, that's pretty much it. Social media. I told myself social media. I'm not allowed to even check Facebook or Twitter between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m.
That's a pretty good goal. Yeah.
That's a pretty good rule, isn't it? I mean, there's nothing urgent. If there's any urgent matter, someone's texting me or whatever. You know what I mean? There's just nothing necessary to do.
If they need to get a hold of you, they'll call you or text you. Yeah.
So I think that's a good rule. So the morning, evening. So that I've been talking about exercise, losing weight forever here, but there's that, and just got to study poker, and I'm gonna have to just get a job and start. Yeah. I mean, it was just, all the rules were broken. I just figured I was due for a score, so I I'm ashamed to say, did not even sell any pieces of myself for the main event this weekend.
What was the buy-in? 1650?
1675 times 2. So that was like my big rule. Any buy-in more than $1,000, I sell pieces, even if it's like just 15, 20%. So, bad decisions have abounded. And, the run bad has just been is just as awful as it can possibly be. So that's about it, Steve. What's going on with you?
Oh, let's see. Work's been good. Been busy. We get up a lot at night. We got up last night about 3 times. I'm not used to that. Most of my career has been on rigs that normally don't get up at night. I've been used to sleeping for most of my career and being the.
Oh, for God's sake, Steve! I can't even hear this anymore. You're getting paid to sleep. I forget how.
I know. I remember as a little kid, I had a goal of having a job where I get paid while I sleep, and without really realizing it, I kind of did that, and that goal is. I guess I'm still technically getting paid when I'm sleeping for the hour and a half waiting for the next call, but my days off are far less productive than they used to be. You come home and you've only slept 3.5 hours. You're kind of tired and you don't really feel like doing shit.
Speaking of fire, I'd rather have a blowtorch taken to my balls than hear about how you make all this money just sitting around sleeping. It's upsetting. Oh my God. It's just, I had it wasn't a cozy job, but it's funny. A guy I know from Oceans is now, we're Facebooking, and he's trying to get a job at the post office as an interview, and he's very excited, get his foot in the door. And I'm like, God damn, how did I lose that job? But
you know what though, man, you did the right thing. I mean, you're a father, and I think it's a lot more noble what you're doing now, being out with your son. And trying to make ends meet here with cards than living on the other side of the United States.
And
that's your number one priority right there.
Right. I still I'm still getting smarter here. The problem is the poker world is getting smarter too. You know what I mean? That's kind of so even studying hard and getting better at poker still involves beating online tournaments that are getting tougher, and just trying to find cash games that aren't soft, but just, average, beatable. I mean, that's what we're going for here. Once every 4 months, I'll be at a fantasy table of people just, who have no idea what they're doing, but it just doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
So anyways, the last time we talked, I was like, this is the lowest point, and I keep digging a little lower. I said last time was the lowest point, and somehow I've lost another $5,500 since then. But anyways, I'm in a good mood today for some reason, which I knew I would be last night, because I just said, well, this has to be rock bottom. But that's not true. You can always lose more money, but hopefully I'm going to start.
You can always lose more money.
Obviously, that's the way it works. But it's like, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've got, I'm actually looking through my HUD here. Just my pin win is it's running just way under expectation. It's ridiculous. Anyways, homie, do you have a hand to discuss?
I've got a couple.
Okay,
you got
go ahead.
some?
I'd rather hear your hand, Steve, frankly.
Okay. All right, let's see.
I'm looking at these hands yesterday, and maybe we can do one quick.
Okay.
I mean, I've already given it away, so it doesn't.
I don't know what you're talking about, so don't give any spoilers here. Don't say it was a bust out or none of that. Just start from scratch.
Okay, Steve. Let's see. The blinds are 175, 350, and I have 43,000 chips to start the hand.
43,000. Okay.
And like I said, this is about the number of chips I had at 2550 or whatever the first one is. But I hadn't picked up a chip, and I hadn't picked up a hand in like an hour and a half, and I think I was still the chip leader at this point. I don't know.
Still have well over 100 big blinds.
Yeah. So I'm in the cutoff with King, two black kings.
Okay.
I'm sorry, King of Diamonds, King of Clubs. So I raise.
And what do you make it?
I make it pretty big at 175, 350. I make it 889.
Okay.
So even a little more than 2.5x.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There must have been. Yeah, I don't know if the villains were extra sticky or if there's some game flow reason. I don't know if that was my standard raise size yesterday. But anyways, I make it 889, and let's quickly, the button, who has 31,454 chips to start the hand, calls. small blind folds, and the big blind calls, and the big blind started the hand with about 13,000 chips, or a little under 40 bigs.
All right. What's the total pot now?
3,122 chips.
3122. Okay. We go to a flop.
The flop is 6-3 deuce rainbow. Club heart diamond.
Diamond. Okay. No back doors. Okay.
Big blind checks.
All right. And I would be betting. Well, this hits the big blind's range the most. I'm throwing out 1,300-ish, something like that, 13, 14, 15.
I think I pressed the old half button.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, exactly half, 1561.
Okay.
This is what, I kind of like this. Carlos says he loves pressing that half button because people think you're just pressing buttons.
Yeah.
Like if you can maybe get someone to spaz out a little more doing that, they're like, he's just, But anyways, the button calls and the big blind folds.
Okay.
So going to the turn, there's now 6,200, 6,244.
6,244 going to the turn. Okay.
And the turn is the 8 of hearts. So it's 8-6-3-2, and now there's 2 hearts on board.
Okay. And we do not have a heart blocker, which I guess is good. Okay. And it's on us.
We should have stopped here. What do you think his calling range is on the flop? Is he full bet? Is he 3-betting tens, jacks, and queens? So for over pairs, are we only putting him 7s, 8s, 9s?
I think so. I think you've been pretty. Do you have a bunch of hands on this guy, or did he just sit down? Or
no, 9 hands on him coming into this, so we got pretty much no information. Yeah,
unknown. I would think, generally speaking, most players are going to be 3-betting 10s plus there, maybe even 9s. They might be calling with aces and kings and things like ace king, ace queen. 50% 3-bet, 50% call. I think, as far as his calling range there on the flop,
if he has broad, he might. I mean, he could float with a couple suited broadways. 2 overs, backdoor flush.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
because we're deep. We're deep too.
Yeah.
Like I said, he had.
He's got 90 big blinds or something. Yeah.
Yeah, to start the hand. So I don't know.
I think like wheel aces too, with maybe a backdoor, like an ace 4, ace 5, with a backdoor, or maybe even like ace 2, ace 3. If he thinks you're just gonna, he'll float you with a pair there on the times that you've got ace jack plus or something.
Gutter ball backdoors.
Something
with sets. He's probably only raising his sets here. 50% maybe.
Maybe like a 7-5 suited or something like that for, like you said, the gut shot or a backdoor. I think he's still pretty wide.
We can't narrow his range down too much. Although, especially if we think there's floats in his range, we don't really have a lot of information. I'd say for the most part. But anyways, if he's folding the Broadway offsuits, but I think he could be calling with a lot here. Anyways, there's 6-2-4-4 in the pot, 8-6-3 deuce, 2 hearts. What am I betting here, I assume, or?
I feel like this hand, I'm trying to decide to either bet the turn or the river or both. I think I'd be more inclined to bet the turn because I think he's going to have some draws here, and I'd rather charge him for that than give him a free card and then have him check behind or not call your river bet.
Well, we could go for, especially if we think, he might have, if he's got, 9s, 10s, maybe even jacks. Then we want to go for, there's no reason we could not say just, we're going for 2 big bets, not just one. I mean, one more bet, one more street. But I think it's a must bet here. I think it's pretty straightforward here, personally. What would be your bet sizing here? If you think there's some draws, you should be betting 2/3 pot or more. No, or what do you think?
I would go bigger than half. So I'd probably go like 35, something like that.
Here's the part of the hand I really don't like. I bet 24.50.
Okay.
And I think in game it wasn't. I mean, it's like I want him to put more chips in, but I think I was also, frankly, wanted it small. So if he raised, I could get away from it.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, he's got sets. You never know, he might have some dumbass 2-pair here. So this was like monsters under the bed kind of spot. I think a little bit where I was just, I'm looking at my stack here, and I'm just like, this just isn't a slam dunk spot. So I mean, I think that's a bet, and I think it's a big bet. I think that should be bet like 4,500 or something, frankly.
I don't know that I'd go that big, but I definitely think it should be more than half.
Well, if we go on his range where it's a lot of draws, and it's a lot of mostly draws and lesser pairs, and if sets are like, he shouldn't have 2-pair here, and sets are probably what, 10 or 15% of his calling range on the flop at most.
Probably, yeah. If that.
Well, then this is an easy big bet. Make him pay to see a river, I think. But anyways, I bet 24.50, and he calls.
Okay.
So now
kind of in no man's land here. All right.
So now we got 11,144 in the pot.
Okay. And he just calls.
Yeah, he just called. So the river is a queen of hearts.
Queen of hearts. Okay, the backdoor got there.
Backdoor flush got there. Still no 2-pairs in his range.
I don't think so unless he's got 6-8.
I think we can take sets out of it. I think sets he raises on the turn 100% of the time. Because it looks like I got an overpair. So he doesn't have sets. He doesn't have 2-pair. So what are we losing here to? We should be betting here, right? Or no? Or do you just check because you don't want to bet and have him shove and then just have no fucking idea what to do?
And that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I kind of like. I like a little bit bigger bet on the turn, and then I like a check here, especially since the heart came in. And if he's sitting there with something like, I don't know, ace-5 of clubs or something, that he just completely whiffed on, we can just call here and then pick that up. Whereas if we bet, he's gonna dump those or stuff it in our face, and then we got a decision. I kind of like a check. I like a check. Let him bet, because really, what's he calling a third street with here? I mean, unless somehow he's with hands that beat us. If for some reason he played a set like this, or he is. See, he would have re-raised queens by now, I would think. We're getting called, I guess, by like a queen, sets, a flush.
We already took
4-5.
4-5 is a possibility, I guess, but we already took 2-pair and sets out of his range. Kind of, I think accurately. I think there's it's like just about 0% of the time, and he should not have a queen, which I guess would be a good reason to check too, because there's just not really any value to. I mean, unless he's got like the ace queen with he just doesn't have a queen. Unless
he couldn't, unless he had ace queen of clubs or diamonds that for whatever reason he decided to float the turn, but that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
because he can't have ace queen of hearts because the queen of hearts came.
Unless he's floating the turn because he thought our bet size looked weak and he was going to raise certain river cards like any 6-3 deuce 5-7. I mean, there would be good bluffing cards for the river.
Yeah,
if he's that level of player, and I just don't have any information on him. I follow your advice. I'm pretty much going to check call here.
Okay.
So I check, and he bets pretty big, 7,350. So he's betting about 70% pot.
I just don't see what he's repping, unless.
Here's the thing: is we're saying he has draws, but he really there's really no draws that miss there. because the ace 5 and the ace 4, those gutter ball, ones, I think fold the turn. We really think sometimes he doesn't raise the straight. I think 4-5 is plausible.
Yeah, 4-5 would make sense.
Especially if it's like 4-5 of hearts, obviously.
Yeah.
I still think he raises if he has the nuts on the turn or the effective nuts. I think he's raising there, and just hoping I have an overpair. That's what I would do, certainly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're trying to get people's stack, especially I got so many chips. He would not be. He's risking not getting max value there. So I tank forever, and I'm thinking, I just took sets. I took 2 pair. I took like busted draws out. I put him on his hand. I says he has ace 6 of hearts every fucking time. He's got a flush here. He's not bluffing here. If he's at all thinking, he's like, I'm obviously in check call mode and not check give up mode. And there's just not a lot of air he has here. Anyways, I took a while and
I couldn't fold. I would do the check call.
And he had ace deuce of hearts, so it was literally
ace deuce, oh sorry, oh he had the flush. Yeah.
Ace deuce of hearts, so he hit the runner flush. I mean, I don't know on a scale of 1 to 10 how horrible that is, but I got a lot of chips. I mean, I know what his hand is, and I'm calling on the river, and that's 25 big blinds I just gave the dude. And this just put me on fucking monkey tilt. Well, monkey tilt is not, but just, well, I won't even get into the other ones, but I put way too many chips in with pocket tens. Short stack and shoved. I min clicked it back, and then somebody raised min clicked again, and the other guy had queens, and I called 1 bet from him on a queen high flop, and then thankfully gave up. And then I built my stack back up and 4-bet ripped pocket 8s and ran into aces against a guy who had nitty stats. So it was just a shit show. And then, anyway, Steve. So, I mean, that hand is not. I think a pro should be able to lay that hand down. At least I'm at a level. Let's put it this way.
I mean, if you're checking the river, are you really folding to that? I don't think you can fold that, can you?
Yeah, maybe not. But let's put it this way. I think 2 years ago, I would have checked call without thinking about it. And when I was breaking it down, I'm like, what is he? There's just no fucking
7-5. 7-5 would make sense. That's a busted draw.
Yeah.
I think you're right though. The ace 5s and ace 4s are folding unless they're hearts.
I thought it was the backdoor flush every fucking time. I really did. And I think maybe it's how he bet too. It was like a snap bet. Like, this guy's excited. I mean, I forgot to mention that detail.
Yeah, okay.
Where he would have been like, if he was in give up mode or whatever. Like if he's got 1 pair, he's just checking here every time.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've just taken so many hands out of his range. He's not betting 1 pair. We don't think he has sets or 2 pair. So that narrows it down pretty good. And there's just not a lot of missed draws there either. 5-7 would be about it. If he has 5-7 of diamonds, he calls and he picks up the straight draw. Well, you make me feel a little better by mentioning that hand because I was not really thinking about that.
I mean, 7-5, 9s, 10s.
I think he still might be giving up there because
I think he's probably raising the turn with 9s or 10s though. For whatever reason, he just calls.
Well, he's never betting the river with 9s or 10s.
No, I don't
0% of the time.
Maybe you're right though. Maybe this is a bet fold. Maybe we bet like 4,500 here, and if he raises, then we just. If he's bluffing us, nice answer, but
yeah,
we get a crying call there from 9s or 10s or ace 8 of clubs or something, and whereas all those are just checking behind on the river, and we get value from those.
But I should be good enough at this point to lay that down, and a lot of players are. You know what I mean? Ben Reasons lays it down. Scott Stewart lays it down. I really think so. Yeah, I don't know. timely time to talk to Elliot. Let's just put it that way.
There you
But
go. I think he's going to help a lot. He did with me, and he can with you too.
he might give up on me real quick. He's like, "Oh, I didn't." He's
Impossible.
like, he'll ask me to explain myself, and I'll be talking real fast. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were this crazy."
I have standards, Mike.
Good luck with that. He's like,
Yes.
do they sell whiskey in California? Like, I don't know why I'm getting a heavy Irish accent now, but he might. And that would be a service if he tells me just to give up. Okay, Steve, you got one more hand here.
I got a few hands, yeah. But first, since we're on the subject of
By a few,
Elliot,
you mean one?
Oh,
I'm just kidding, Steve.
Let me tell you really quickly about Elliot Rowe. He's you've heard us talking about him. He's a poker hypnotherapist. Yes, there is such a thing. You listen to one of his hypnosis tapes before you play. So if you're like Mike and you play live cash, you listen to one of his live cash MP3s. You can put these things on your phone. They're about 10 minutes long. You just listen to it before you play. It only takes 10 minutes. And it'll put you in the right mindset before you sit down and play poker. You need to have a warm-up session. You have to do something before you play, whether that's a breathing exercise, go for a walk, or whatever. Get your routine down and do something before you play to get your mind right before you sit down and put a lot of money on the line. So if you're like me and Mike and you like multi-table tournaments online, he's got MP3s for that. He's got MP3s for bankroll management, for folding when you're beat. He's got them all. He's even got them for spin and goes. You can get a free one, a 7-minute tilt buster. It doesn't cost anything. Click on the link in the show notes. It'll take you straight to the page. Put the thing straight on your phone and try it out. You can try it out for free. If you do buy some MP3s from his site, use the code HeadsUpPoker and you'll score yourself a little discount. You kick back some to the podcast, and it's just a win-win. Alrighty. Okay. Now, this is kind of a string of hands. It's against an unknown. I kind of got to give you the setup hands first before we get on to the real one. We're second hand of the tournament.
What tournament?
This one's a 1,200 guarantee. I think this was one of those $10 or $20 ones I had on the side.
Okay.
So first hand that he sits down, he calls a raise. This is just to kind of give you some background. The guy c-bets, he calls. The guy checks the turn, he bets, he takes it down. Okay, so that was hand one. The second hand, he folds. The third hand, he raises. We're in the big blind. He 3Xs. We have pocket sevens, we call. And the flop is, well, maybe we can just go into this one a little bit. Okay, so this is the third hand. He's played 2 of them so far. We got sevens. We defend from the big blind. We're heads up. The flop is Queen 5-3 rainbow.
I'm sorry. Where's this guy positionally?
He is. Let's see. We're in the big blind. He's UTG +2.
So he's 3 to your left, or 2 to your left, I guess.
1, 2, 3 to my left.
Oh, 3 to your left. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so the flop is Queen 5-3. He 3x'd from UTG +2. We defended with sevens. And what are you doing on this flop?
Calling.
Check call, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what we do. We check call. He bets 98 into 195. We call. We click the half pot button. The turn is a queen, putting a backdoor spade draw up there, so the board is now Queen 5-3. Same line, right? Check call?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. He bets 261 into 391. We check call. And the river's an 8. What are we doing here, you think?
Check calling, probably, depending on his bet size.
Okay. 913 in the pot. He bets 609.
Yeah, I'm not folding. You know me. I mean, he should never be betting an 8 here unless he's just a total fucking ninja.
Yeah. Okay.
From his perspective, what he's ranging you on is, God only knows. I don't know. I don't know what he could think you have. If he doesn't think you have any pairs, tens or jacks or aces or kings. He's repping a queen only here. I mean, he's got queens in his range, but I think you're good at least 50% of the time here, and you're getting a better price than that. So I'm calling.
Yeah, I feel like he's totally polarized. Like he either has aces, kings, or a queen, or like air, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I do the same thing. I check call, and he shows king six of spades. So he raised UTG plus 2 with king six of spades.
Bet three streets with it.
Fired
Yeah.
3 streets with it. He picked up a backdoor spade draw on the turn, but that was it. Okay? And so he bet a little bigger when he had it there, or I mean when he was bluffing, the total error.
Right.
Okay. So next hand, he 3x's under the gun again.
You're in small blind. Yeah.
I'm in the small blind. I end up folding. He takes down the pot. Now we are on the button. We got queen 10 offsuit. Folds to us. We 3x it, and he defends in the big blind. Okay, flop is ace of clubs, king of diamonds, 8 of spades. Well, apparently I can't read. Okay, start over. Ace of clubs, king of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, and we have the queen 10 with the 10 of diamonds. He checks. What are you thinking here?
I'm c-betting.
Okay. What sizing?
50% pot. Click the half button.
Okay. I went 77. I went a little bit smaller. I probably should have gone almost 100 on that. I went 77. He called.
Okay.
Turns a diamond, 3 of diamonds. So now the board is ace of clubs, king of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 3 of diamonds. And we have queen 10 with the 10 of diamonds. So we're picking up a backdoor. And he leads out for 233.
What do you think about his is he ever? I think this villain will be raising a lot on the flop with an ace, or maybe 3-betting. So I don't know how many aces he has. I was just going to throw that out.
Okay.
So that's very relevant as we move forward in the hand here.
Yeah. He went into check call. You're probably right. He's probably raising well, would he just call there and then lead the turn with an ace?
Well, I don't know. That's definitely a plausible line.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's just hard to hit a flush, and you got a blocker to the flush.
Yeah.
I would consider raising here, even though you have equity with the gutter ball and the flush draw. This villain, I was also going to say that I'm not going to be folding too much this villain here. Maybe it's stupid. I shouldn't be going out of my way to play pots with him and just wait for him to spew. But maybe that's just my mentality. I was going to say check back the flop, and like he would always lead the turn and raise the turn. That's something I do quite a lot when I'm in position against an ag player.
Yeah. Okay.
I check back flops and I raise turns.
Okay.
So I kind of like that, but I'm not folding here. Personally,
okay.
I like a raise. I don't know, or call and bet big on the river. Steve, I don't know if people should be listening to me.
Don't sell yourself short.
No,
it's just a downswing. It's going to pass.
No, Steve. No, I'm just not good at poker.
Your poker mind is at its peak right now. You're just having a little bad luck going on.
Well, Alex says he's like I discuss hands with you, Mike. Is you understand poker as much as anyone. It's just you're just a mental midget, and you just don't make good decisions. Blah blah blah. Alex too is also said this is a run bad's about as bad as it gets. He goes unless you're just lying about hands to me, which I haven't been. Anyway, Steve, yeah, I like a raise here. You don't want to lose to King X. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
for sure. If you lose to a king, you failed in this hand.
Yeah.
You should fold or either give up or play it more aggressively. That's my first instinct here. I just don't think he has that many aces, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I like your reasoning there. I like a raise. He bets 233. What are you making it? Like 888? Something like that, or not quite that big?
Yeah, I don't know if it needs to be, probably 3.5 to 4x or 3x. I mean, it's just, you could almost get, even like just 675. I just don't think he's got to fold his kings. He's got to fold his king, and he's only going forward with a flush draw or an ace, and I don't know how often he has that here. I think he's just got a lot of crap, but I don't know. I screw up sometimes. I got like a very small, hand sample on someone, and I say, well, he's played 4 of 9 hands. He's obviously an agtard.
Yeah.
let's 5-bet rip pocket eights here. You know what I mean? So, anyway, Steve, what'd you do?
I end up calling, and looking back at it now, I really like your raise. I like that because I think that if he calls with the king there, then we can just bet big on the river, and I don't think there's any way he's calling with the king. He's like you said, he's only calling with an ace, and then he's calling with the flush draw there, or sets if he's got a set.
Yeah, well, he would call with a king and a jack of diamonds. I mean, with a diamond in his hand. So, but yeah, your hand's not great. I mean, what are you thinking when you call? Were you thinking there's some river card you're going to bluff, or are you just like, let's just hope I hit a diamond and I'm good?
I don't remember.
Because if that's your thinking, that's just bad. I think
that's flawed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just not good. Anyways, you call. What's the river?
The river is 4 hearts. So the final board is ace, king, 8, 3, 4. And we got 3 diamonds on board. The river's a heart. So we whiff, and he leads out 544 into 815. The move was the raise on the turn.
Yeah, I think at this point you just have to give up. And he does have some aces. I mean, it's not never. He could have a flush just because he's been going nuts. But yeah, I like raising the turn.
Yeah.
Or the delayed C bet. Even check if he checks to you, check the flop, and if he checks to you on the turn, then you bet.
Yeah. Or if he bets the turn, then raise.
But yeah, I don't like the call. I don't like the call on the flop unless there's.
The call on the turn.
I don't like the call on the turn unless there's some. You've got another plan to win on the river. Where if he bets again, you're going to raise, like here.
Yeah.
Of course, it's very costly the way this guy plays, and we don't know if he's a lot of people are just going to fold the river if they don't have a flush. A thinking player would be like, wait a second, you're never raising an ace there, blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
Might reshove with crap, but that just doesn't happen at the lower buy-ins or really happen anywhere for that often.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Steve. You might have made a good river fold. And the turn, I like a raise. But anyways,
yeah, I like that. Okay, now onto the hand that this was kind of the setup for this hand. Okay, so out of 6 hands, he's played I think 5 of them. All right, so it folds to us.
You're in the cutoff.
What's that?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, in the cutoff. And we got pocket jacks. Okay, so we 3x again. Button folds, and our villain is now in the small blind, and he makes it 330. So we raise to 90. His blind levels are 1530. We raise to 90. He makes it 330. The big blind folds, and we're heads up again with this guy.
What is the starting stack?
We start
5K or 10K?
5K. He's got 4,700 to start the hand. We got 56.
If you 4-bet, call it off here. You're not making a mistake. That's for sure.
That was my main question here. Is like, how light are we going against this guy, right? He's played 5 out of 6 hands. He's obviously aggressive. We saw him bluff with the King 6 on a flop that he really had no business being in. How light are we going? Are you 4-bet calling it off with 10s? Or is jacks kind of our cutoff? Or
yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to. I don't know specifically, but what is he reshoving with? You 4-betting is pretty strong stuff. I don't know if he's reshoving like King 8 suited kind of shit, but or what he's doing with pocket 9s. I mean, if you 4-bet, call it off. You're I don't know how good you're doing against his 5-bet shove range, but you could just call and just be committed to calling down if there's 1 over or less.
Yeah.
The way it's set, the way it's it's all going to be on the turn, the way he bets.
Yeah.
If you or just flatting and calling and just shoving over any 10 high board. And then if he's got a If he's got you beat, he's got you beat. But against this villain, Jacks is like the nuts, I think.
That's the way I felt. Yeah. Okay. I 4-bet.
Okay.
I make it 8-10. So he made it. I made it 90. He made it 330. Then I make it 8-10.
Okay.
And villain calls. So we go to the flop. We got 1650 in the pot, and the flop is King Jack 6 Rainbow. So we flop the second nuts.
We like that.
Yeah, that's a nice flop. And villain checks to us.
I bet small.
Okay, and the 1650. What are you thinking?
475.
Okay.
Something, or I don't know. That's really small. 610 or something like that. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to.
I did a third pot. I went 550. I thought a big bet was bad, and even a half pot was way too big, so I just did a third.
That sounds good. I mean, I think this kind of player responds to that is like, he's weak kind of shit. You know what I mean?
That's what I was hoping. Yeah. Yes.
That's like a Carlos rule, which I think is pretty good. He's like this idea where you get a big hand and you slow play against the ag guy who will kind of hang himself. Carlos says it's like the opposite, which I think it's true. Is these guys just don't like being played back at. Like the more aggressively you play, a lot of times they're just shoving it down, which is totally counterintuitive with the ag player, but they just want control of every hand.
Yeah.
So betting here for sure. So
okay.
I like it. In your bet size. Good. Yeah.
All right. I'm making 550 and he calls. So what are we putting him on here? Yeah, we raised, he 3-bet, we 4-bet, he called, and now he check calls this flop.
I don't know, Steve. I mean, he should have some equity there. He should have a pair. You said it was a rainbow flop?
Rainbow, yeah. King Jack 6.
I mean, I guess if for some reason he had aces pre-flop, I guess maybe he just flats there. I doubt it. I guess I'll put him on a king. I would think he'd raise a king a fair amount, but let's just, I guess that's the most common. King 9, king queen, or king 10. You block king jack. I guess he's got ace king sometimes too.
Okay.
But, I mean, 10 queen, of course. He's got the open ender.
10 queen. What about like ace queen? You think he's floating there with ace queen? Maybe?
He might. He might, especially the price you gave him. He might, I can hit my hand, or if an ace comes on the turn, I'm good, kind of shit, you know?
Okay. What about pairs like 7s plus, 7s through 10s? Like that?
Well, that's supposed to be a pure set line. He's supposed to fold, but I mean, you never know what you're dealing with here. So
okay. Alrighty. Okay, we go to the turn. There's 2750 in the pot, and the turn is the queen of diamonds. So the board is now king, queen, jack 6 with 2 diamonds. And villain checks.
Bet. Bet big, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, now you want to bet big because
king 10 is an open ender.
Yeah.
There's an ace in there.
For protection / value, whatever he's called on the flop with. This shouldn't be a scare card for his hand.
Yeah.
Like unless he was just for his pure crummy floats. He's got to give up. But I'd bet 2/3 pot here. Well, let me see. How much chips you got in? How many chips you got in your stack here now?
Okay, the pot is 2750. I've got 4,300 and he's got 3,300.
So you're not going to have any trouble getting it in by the river. So you don't have to bet big to work out to get a river shove in there. Well, I'm betting at least 60% pot here on a wet board. He's got outs probably, whatever he's got.
So you're betting like 17 or 1,800. I think so. That'd be half his stack.
Yeah.
Okay.
1655. I don't know.
Okay. I went for a smaller one. I went 917. So I did the third pot bet again. And my thought was if he's got like a 10 here, if maybe he's got queen 10 or something, and now he has a pair with an open ender. I thought he might rip it, and I thought he might think that he has fold equity if I bet this small.
Okay, I like that. That makes sense, I guess. And you still can shove the river here even with that bet sizing.
Yeah. Okay, so I bet that he rips it. We snap call, and what do you think he had?
For him calling there,
Yeah.
I guess he still has a king. I mean,
Okay.
you got to put him on a king now, or if somehow he could have had queen jack, picked up. I guess queen jack he probably shoves there. If he had queen 10, he's got a pair now with a straight draw. If for some reason he had kings or queens here, he'd have to shove at this point. He doesn't do that. Yeah, I don't know, Steve. I'm still putting him on king 10.
Okay.
King 10. King. That's my pick. I don't know though.
Pocket queens. So he turned a set of queens.
Well, you didn't.
So that kind of surprised the shit out of me because I was ready to go all in pre-flop with jacks here, and then he shows up with queens. And
I don't think he gave you said he just called the turn, right?
No, he shoved the turn.
Oh, he shoved the turn and you called. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just unlucky. I don't know. I would think just how this guy plays, he'd be, it is funny, like the most wild player at the Ocean's 11 casino.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's just shoveling chips in the pot all the time. And I'm playing, I've only been here for a few months and watching this guy play. He opens in 5-5. Sometimes he just bets $100 under the gun, blind raise.
Yeah.
We haven't seen this guy in a while. He banned himself for a year, and then I've seen him a couple times playing lower stakes. And it's just you can't, obviously going to lose a lot of money there. He owns a couple businesses, but there's one hand where he's playing cautiously. He bet big pre-flop, and then he bet the flop, and then in the turn he's like, kind of looked nervous and check. And the guy next to me, he's like, he has aces. Aces is the one hand he doesn't like.
Okay.
Like he's just terrified of his aces getting cracked. He likes the 4-6 because he can hit 2 pair, and aces he never, you know what I mean. So and the guy ended up having aces, and like not betting turn or river when he should have, you know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah, not getting max value.
So this might be the villain. Is like king 6, bluff here. He's like queens. He might have kings.
But we've got to be careful.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, it is kind of funny how people with just like big hands just want to get to showdown without getting cracked. But you know what I mean? They're willing to bluff with a lot of shit because, well, I mean, that's the only way they can win with the shit. I mean, I don't know, man. It sounds like
okay. That was just a cooler running into a big hand against a guy that's played 5 of 6 hands.
But on the other hand, you 4-betting and willing to get it in does even against this villain add a lot of variance to it.
Yeah.
So if you just wanted to flat and see where you're at kind of thing and just, basically think at some point this guy's going to give me his whole stack, that might be more my mentality with queens. If I had queens pre-flop and he raised, I might flat more likely, but jacks is just too vulnerable to the overs and everything. So I think 4-bet getting it in probably against this villain. That's a lot of big blinds to get in with jacks, but I mean, when he plays 5 of the first 6 hands, it's just impossible to get away from his 5-bet rip there, I think, if you played it that way.
I think so. Especially after seeing the king 6, He's opening that UTG +2 and then just firing 3 streets. That was the hand that was sticking out in my mind. And then after I saw the queens, I'm like, maybe that was I should have called his 3-bet. Maybe that's what I should have done. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I mean, the king 6 is just a horrible open, but, as played, you got to go 3 streets with it when you turn the flush draw, and he knows you never have a queen when you don't raise the turn, probably. Yeah. So pre-flop, it's just an awful raise, but, how he played it is, I don't think that one's bad. Like I said, I don't like the queen 10 just calling on the turn, just didn't make a lot of sense to me there. That was the one I didn't like, but.
Okay. Let's see. I got another one.
Okay.
Well, I got a couple of them, but let me see what. Okay, how about this one? All right, we are on the absolute bubble. All right, so this is a $33 buy-in, and we're top 27 get paid, and we're at 28 right now. Or
okay.
Maybe top 27. 9 times 3 is 27. Yeah, top 27 get paid, and we're at player 28 right now. As always on the bubble, you got some short stacks. The stacks at the table. This is where. Well, let me just go through with the hand. Okay. There's an open.
Please promise me. I just hope you butcher this hand, just so I can feel good as we end this talk. So I can feel smart again. Even though
prepare to feel smarter than Einstein.
I'm a train wreck as a poker player and just a debacle as a man. But anyways, go ahead, Steve.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so UTG +1 opens. We are 7-handed. UTG +1 opens. Min raises. Blind levels are 600, 1200.
Okay.
And he raises to 2400. He's got 27 big blinds. It folds to us. We've got ace king of diamonds with 25 big blinds, and we're in the cutoff. Stats that we have on this player, after 31 hands, he's a 17, 14, 12.5 3-bet. That's about all we got. We just have like 3 rotations on him.
How big? I mean, is there a short stack with like 1 big blind or something? I mean, what's the shortest stack?
I would love to say that there's not, but yes, there is. In the small blind, he has 605 chips left, and if he completes the big blind, he'll have 5 chips. So yeah, there is.
I'm tempted just to rip it. The problem is, if I had 27 and he had 25, I just rip it for sure.
Yes.
Here he can bust you, and I don't know what his calling range. If you just shove it in, is he calling with pocket eights? Of course, if he's calling with pocket eights, he's also calling with ace queen, so that's not horrible. It's pretty hard to make a bad decision here. 3-bet, call it off is fine. Flatting, I guess, is fine, especially if there's anyone behind who you can induce who's shorter. And I don't know. For some reason, I like flatting or ripping more than I like 3-betting.
Okay.
But
there's a 9 big blind stack on the button, 1 big blind, which is going to be half a big blind if he folds here, and 17 bigs in the big blind. So we got everyone covered behind us, and the Razor's got 2 more big blinds than us. I kind of like what you're saying about flatting, because here we've got one guy he's not even going to survive another orbit if he folds this. And we got 9 bigs on the button. The guy that's opening covers us. I just saw ace king of diamonds, and I was like, I was in bubble mode play. I was just I was raising a lot, and I was kind of running over the table, and then I got a hand, and I'm like,
sure.
Oh, here we go.
Well, this is a hand.
Is where I get paid off, and the guy calls me light with ace jack or something.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, again, if you wanted to do for you to rip and steal those chips, like let's say your stack is worth probably $90 right now.
Okay.
It might be worth more, but let's just say it's worth $90. If you were to rip and steal those blinds, your stack is now worth $95.
Yeah.
Where if you bust this hand, you've just lost $90.
Yeah.
So, so that just to quickly, I'm just going to throw those numbers out, but you're not going to bust very often here. If you 3-bet, call it off or shove, I don't think. Well, if you 3-bet, call it off, he's got a pretty good hand. If you shove, this guy he's got a. I mean, I don't know. You wish you had more hands. How open? Of course, him even just opening under the gun is pretty strong here. But he's got 20
+1, but still, yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, you got ace king suited, Steve. Bubble or no bubble. I'm willing to raise, get it in here, I think.
Okay. All right. I end up going for the 3-bet. He makes it 24. I make it 51. I made it a little small just because we're in position.
You definitely don't like the bet sizing there for sure.
What would you make it?
I would make it close to a full 3x here. Okay. We don't want him flopping 2 pair with some nonsense. Charge him. Yeah, I mean at least like 2.8x or something like that. You made it basically. Did you make it? How much did you make it? 51.
But yeah, so it's basically
2.2
min raise plus 500. No, plus
2.2x or
300.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making it like 6,800 or something probably.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, I think that's way too small.
Okay.
Or it depends what you're trying to do. He's never folding there, or he's never supposed to be folding there.
I wouldn't think so.
Anyway, but that is the sizing you would use probably for aces or kings. I mean, I think it's good just to have a consistent bet sizing here. I don't know what that is. For me, it's probably like 2.8 in position, 3.0 or even three. Even I've been even going bigger from my little small blind 3 bets against like late position openers. I'm almost like 3.2, 3.5 sometimes.
Okay.
So anyways, you 3-bet and the villain.
Yeah, I 3-bet. It folds around to the villain, and he rips, and then we got no choice but to call it off here, right?
Yeah, again, like I say, if you broke down the math, it's probably, if you're a guy who's paying 2,000 tournaments a year and just trying to maximize the dollar value of every tournament, this is probably a fold. Because all you've done is put in 4.2 big blinds, which is less than 20% of your stack. Someone's got less than one big blind. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not folding. I don't think, unless, I don't know if you had a large sample size in this guy. Is he shoving ace queen here?
That's the real question. What's he doing with ace queen and ace jack?
You want to have at least one hand in his range you're ahead of. He's shoving ace queen suited maybe, but you block that.
Yeah.
So he's, this is pretty strong stuff here. I'm thinking 10s plus. But with the chips in the middle, you're getting the right price to call since you block the, he's got jacks, 10s, jacks, and queens a lot more than aces or kings. But, you only had 25 effing big blinds to start the hand here. You double up, you obviously are in a great spot to make a run at it. But I'm sure if we got Doug or Jacob or someone smarter than me and you to go through the math and all this kind of stuff, just in a dollar cents amount, it's probably a fold. But you call, and what does the villain have?
He's got pocket queens. And we get a terrible run out, and we're out. We bubbled when there's a guy with half a big blind. So this, I feel like, was a I think it's just a flat on the a flat pre-flop, and then when you got this guy with half a big blind, like you said, that my stack is probably worth $90. And if I pick up the chips in the middle here, it's probably worth 100, and if even that. And I think it's just a flat here. Take a flop in position. If the guy's behind me with 9 bigs, 1 big, or 17 bigs rips, then we get to see what he does before it gets back to us, and we can make a decision then. I think it's just a flat.
I probably.
Like you said, if we had 27 and he had 25 big blinds, I really like a 3-bet, and I really like a rip. But
especially how small you made it. Like if you made it 3x, I think he might shove pocket 6s through 9s maybe sometimes. But you make it so small, he can set mine with all those profitably almost. You know what I mean? He can just take so.
Yeah, there's 10K in the pot, and he's only got to call 27. Yeah,
he might not even shove 10s there, or he might even call with jacks to see like what the flop is. But I don't know. Like you say, he didn't have a lot of hands on the guy. I mean, I don't know, Steve. I think that's a minus EV call if you're for dollars and cents. But like, I would do it the same.
Okay.
I mean, like, I don't know.
Okay. Well, we both butchered a hand. How's that?
No, yours was better than my. Well, I don't know, Steve. Let's just agree. Let's agree to that we both suck equally.
Okay, we both equally suck at this game. Yes.
We're like the fucking Cheech and Chong of poker here, man. Other than we're just dead sober when we play and have no excuses. You know what I mean?
I've been on a downswing, nothing like what you've been through, but I just haven't made a deep run in like 2 months. I've gotten some final tables, but I just keep getting like seventh, and it's like, man, frustrating. It's gotta.
Yeah, like the 60K. One of these tournaments I was running deep in, and I was just like, I'm like, thinking at 13K for first. I'm like, well, that's nice, but that doesn't really get me out of the hole.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I can't really think along those terms. I just need to get some money coming in. But it's like it's been so bad that even like a 10K score, would have been like, I mean that literally all that would do, and especially after I pay off the roll, would like cover my expenses from like the previous 3 days, previous 3 days of losses. So obviously, I just do not have money to play any live tournaments without selling like most of myself. You know what I mean? It's even $500 tournaments, I need to sell half of myself. And whatever. I'll get back to the online grind and go talk to the Uber people today.
Yeah.
And, hopefully sunnier days are ahead here. I don't know.
I'm looking at my overall stats over the last few months, and my big blinds per 100 is 3.8, but my expected EV over 100 is 8.12.
Well, you're kicking out.
You're in the positive there, but my bankroll certainly doesn't show it. Most of those big blinds must be when I have like 200 BBs or something.
Steve, I don't want to hear about the $11 you've lost over the last 6 months while you've made, $50,000 through Amazon. And you're getting paid for your, and you're pissed off when you don't get to sleep the entire night. What is your hourly wage as a fireman now? $35-$40 an hour?
No, it's $28.01 or something like that, I think.
Do you get like night differentials for this, that, the other thing? No, that's what you get paid all the time.
No, that's just this straight across the board. Whether you're on the roof cutting a hole in a fire, that's what you get paid, or whether you're sleeping.
Right. Well, Steve, if you ever want to start a picket line out front of start some protests, because you're such a useful member of society. You're underpaid.
Okay.
3.5 houses just isn't enough for you. You should be a real estate mogul with all the hard work you're doing. I gotta say.
Okay, I'm humbled. All right. I guess I have no room to complain. You're right.
Just go off and sell some squatty potties and leave me alone for 48 goddamn hours is all I ask, Steve. Please. Okay, homie.
All righty, man.
As usual. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, and thank you for tuning in. And here is your weekly motivational speech.
Well, I think that the number one thing is you have to have a very clear vision, a very clear goal of where you want to go, because only then you will get there. You can have the best airplane or the best ship in the world, but if the captain doesn't know where to go, he will just drift around. If the pilot does not know where to go, he will just drift around with his plane. So I think the key thing is that we know where we're going, and that you're very passionate about that, that you see it always in front of you, the goal.
To thrive in whatever you do, please understand your terrain. Know what your target is. Don't guess it. Be as clued up as the next man, because that's your petrol. That's your fuel to get you moving. If you don't know where you're going, what your targets are, you're never going to get there. Period.
And the other thing that's important is that you got to shoot for the top. You got to go and really have big goals and think big. Because then you're going to get big. Then you're going to go and achieve big things. That is the most important thing. We don't achieve big things by accident.